Hi everyone, I am Professor Fatima Kagalwala. I am here to share this presentation which I would like to share so that it helps you out in achieving and fulfilling your dream. I am an All India 13th rank holder in CS final. Okay, so I had this entire journey in which I have gone through a lot of ups and downs, and finally I have achieved what I always wanted to. It was my dream come true. Okay, so I'm here to share the same with you all. I'm here to give you the tips and so that you can take the best use of it and let me know that if it was very helpful in order to get you best of the results. Let me begin by sharing something which is very close to my heart, and that is my certificate of merit. Every time when I see this frame, okay, it reminds me that yes, I was honored with this certificate by our CS president, who was Dr. Shyam Agarwal then, and it states that I have secured a 13th rank in my CS professional exams. Okay, and it is a very proud moment for my entire family, for the teachers who have taught me, and of course for myself. Okay, so let's begin. Let me take you all through this presentation in which I have put my best possible ways in the way I had studied, the way I have written my paper, the way I used to revise, and I want to I'll be very happy to share this with all my students and anyone there who wants to achieve this dream. Coming to this presentation, I have basically divided this in three simple parts. Okay, one is how to study, second one is how to revise just before your exams, and the third is how to write the paper. Okay, so how to study, yes, I'm going to emphasize on it. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about how to revise before the exams, but what I'm focusing here more is how to write your paper. Why? Because despite you might have studied everything, I know some of my students who come telling me, oh ma'am, I knew everything, but I don't know why we could not write it in the paper. So let's see what are the obstacles which we face while writing the paper, and it is very easy to overcome them. Okay, so let's begin with our first part, which is how to study. Now in how to study, where I began my I became very disciplined, okay, in my life, because I knew I want to achieve this. Okay, this is my goal. Becoming a CS, stating CS before my name is my dream. Okay, so time management is the most important aspect. So I have managed my time from day one. Okay, from the time when I enrolled myself as a CS until I gave my finals, I knew what is my study plan. I knew what is my timetable. I knew that every day I have to make this time slots available for my studies. Okay, because when you have a plan in place, no, when you have your own timetable in place, you will automatically become disciplinary and you will adhere to that timetable. Trust me, start making a timetable on a daily basis and you see, you will obviously keep on achieving what you have made that in a to-do list as per your timings, and you will be able to achieve that. Okay, so first, most important, time management. You want to do something, we have to invest time. Time is money, as we all know about it. Next is, in how to study, is the notes. Okay, many people ask me, how did you score a rank? You have been so busy in your life, because of course a family, married, I'm having a son, looking after everyone. So how did you manage to complete such a vast portion and study and revise? So one very important tip, and I want you all to take this really very seriously and as my advice. Okay, even if in case you want to score really good marks in any other exams, whichever exams you are going to attempt to, make your notes, write them down. What happens when you make notes is you read while you are writing. When you write, you remember well. Okay, so this is what I had done. While I was being taught, like, of course, you must have taken some classes, or maybe you were watching some video over that you were starting to study. So in that, what you can do is you can start making pointers in your textbook or your module, whatever you have with you. You can start making pointers there at the time when you are studying. That is when you will be like kind of finishing the first reading itself. Once I used to be at home, I used to make a summary of what was taught in my class. Okay, so this helped me with two things. One, I had my notes ready, which I knew, oh, if I study this, if I read this just before my exams, I will know how to pull up an answer. So make your summary notes, make them with the help of your module, which the institute provides, or your textbooks. Okay, make that from there itself, because there's a reason why the institute or any kind of institute would provide you with the textbooks and modules. Okay, there is a reason. They know what we have to study. Okay, so try to see that your notes are from that module itself. Keep them very neat, keep them in a summarized form, but not that very much summarized that you're not able to pull up an answer. See to it that you put it in such a manner that you're able to revise it and also write it at the same point of time in the exams. Next is the revision while you are studying. Now, when you do this, okay, you won't believe how quick you will become in your reading. You will feel, oh my god, I just know this. Okay, revise your previous topic before you start a new topic very generously, I'm not saying sit and learn it. I have not done that. I'm being very frank. I have not sat and I have not mugged up or learned anything. Okay, I have sat and I have read it in such a manner that, okay, fine, this concept is well understood. So when I used to move to a second chapter, I revise my first chapter. Very simple. When you revise your first chapter while you have to study your second, your first chapter is now thorough. So when you will do your third chapter, you will be revising first and second. So again, it will, automatically you will see that the time which you are taking to read and revise is going down. Why? Because you already know that particular chapter. Okay. Follow this very religiously. See it and you will see a very great improvement, when the time your exams are about to start. Why? Because you have already read that same thing time and again. And because of you have invested that time in revision, you will be less stressed at the time of exams. Okay, you will have time in order to concentrate and understand about the next day paper. You will be able to read it in a better way because you will not be stressed. Okay, so revision part is also a very important part. Next is to remember bare acts and sections, okay, and to remember the case laws. Now, many students, okay, they tell me, ma'am, we just can't remember the sections. How do you remember the sections? Please tell us. So, what is an answer to that? You can't remember sections because you have already chosen to skip those sections. From the very first, you do not look at the sections. You just want to learn. Don't do that, okay? My friendly advice to all of you all, don't try to skip the sections from the beginning. Okay? Begin only well. Okay? Once you are, well begun is half done. So if you have begun well, you have already read your section. Since I told you all to make a summary notes, make that, write your section in the corner, and every time when you will revise, you will keep seeing that section. And trust me, over the time, you will definitely remember all those sections. Okay, especially the ones which are important. You will be able to do those sections. You are taught a particular chapter, say a chapter on anything. You're taught in law or chapter on directors, or you're taught about Consumer Protection Act, anything. Okay, so when you are making the notes, when you are reading that chapter, try not to skip the sections. Read it along with the sections. You will get a hang of it. You will be able to remember it. So these are the techniques of remembering sections and case laws. Case laws you will remember well if you know the provisions well of a given law, of a given act. Okay, if you remember those provisions, case laws automatically, when you will have read it, just write the name of the case law, write a very small summary of that case law in your book, saying that okay, in this case law if they are talking about this provision, or if in case you are writing a particular provision in your notes, write that case law along with that provision. So when you are revising, you will keep on revising that case law again and again. Okay, so this will not come in one day. Like today you sat and you were reading the entire Bare Act and you'll remember all the sections. No, it will not come like that. It will come with time. Okay, it will come when you will keep reading, keep on looking at those sections, keep reading the entire provision with the particular section. Okay, and trust me, I have written proper sections with subsections and the relevant case laws in my paper, and those who write that, they have an edge over the others. They are the ones who will definitely score better marks. I'm not saying you will not get any marks, but if you are writing sections, if you are quoting a particular case law, you will definitely have a better chance of getting good marks. Okay, right? Next is how to study. In my study thing, I'm still on my first part, how to study, and that talks about the module. I have already told you all this before. Again, I will tell you all, module is it. Okay, instead of sticking to 3 different books and then reading those 3 different books one time, take your module and read the module 3 times. That will make sense. You will know where to search for a particular answer. Okay, everything is given in the module, everything is there in your particular textbook. Okay, so read that completely, read that properly. Even if you are making the notes, see to it that you are making it from the module, so that your entire cover to cover of your module is there, it's done. Okay, especially for all your law subjects. I have not read any kind of scanner or any kind of other notes, because I was taught from the module completely. My sir has taught me everything from the module. I used to read the module, I used to make the notes also from the module. So module is a very, very important thing. Don't try to go on searching for different types of books or different types of notes. This friend has got some notes, let's study this chapter from this notes. Why? At the end you will waste your time in revision. So do your module, read your module. Okay, that is the best thing. And your model answers, the guideline answers, if ever you get time, okay, you check your guideline answers which the institute provides for the questions, the question paper which is there for a given attempt. They give you the guideline answers, the answers which the institute expect from us. They are all from the module, very, very much from the module. Okay, because module has that law language, module has that provisions, it has those sections, it has those case laws. So you have the entire package in one module. Okay, so stick to it, read your module well. Okay, let's move further. Now, how to revise before exams, very important. I've come to the second part of my presentation, and this is a very, very important part. Okay, because I'm sure there are many students here who study really very well, but when it comes to revision before the exams, they are like kind of stressed, they really don't know what to do. Okay, they feel, oh my god, it's such a vast portion, how to revise it. First thing, be confident. Okay, you have worked so hard over the months, you have studied everything over the months, you have kept reading, you have kept yourself away from all the social activities, and here you are. Okay, so your mindset should be very positive. Okay, be confident. You have done your work, you have to just revise that, read it. This is the stress management. Okay, be calm, be positive. Do not do something and I have written here, sleep well, eat right. That is because you end up doing something because of which you may just fall ill right before your exams. Okay, or else you keep on studying over the night and then during the exams you're not able to write the paper. Please avoid all that. Refrain yourself from being awake the whole night because you have a tough paper next day. It's not going to take you anywhere. Try to time yourself, make a study timetable, the first thing which I told you all. Okay, so make that, and see your revision part will also be in the time. Perfect. There will be nothing, apart from that. You will be like, oh yes, I am able to revise it. And try to revise it. The technique I told you, again I'm telling you, revise your module or your notes which you have made from the module. Don't go to any kind of a new book. Don't go and switch to any kind of a new scanner. Okay, refrain from that, because you'll not be able to take it up everything in that one particular time. Okay, so revise your module, do your own notes, be very calm, be positive, manage stress. Okay, this is all, obviously before exams it does happen like that. Okay, it has happened with me also, but I had made a timetable for my revision as well. Yeah, I had made a timetable, and that timetable was like, okay, fine, I knew in this 4 days I have to revise this particular subject, in this 3 days this particular subject, and trust me, I was able to adhere to my timetable, and here I am today. Okay, now let's go to the next part. Is last part of this presentation is how to write the paper. Okay, now all said and done, you have studied well, you have also done your revision on time. Okay, but when it comes to writing the paper, there it is. Okay, like, oh, gone. All of a sudden there is some question, okay, which you feel, oh, there is nothing like this in the module, we have not been taught this. Don't worry about such situations. Okay, think over it again, read over it, read your question again. You must have read something about that particular topic, something about that particular chapter. Okay, don't leave your module. Okay, don't omit any chapters from your module. That omit word, no, please omit. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, do whatever you feel this is not really important, uska, you can just make one 5-line answer, a 6-7 line answer. Just see that you know something about that. Don't completely leave anything. Okay, so when you are asked a question which you feel, oh, this is a difficult one or something unknown, just see that if it is difficult for you, it is difficult for all of them, for all the others. So at this time, okay, think about that, how you are going to manage it, and manage it so well that you will be shining in, you'll have bright colors. When you will pass it will be seen that, okay, fine, even an unknown question was not left unattempted. Okay, attempt it. You will know about that particular chapter. And do not take so much of stress of not knowing it. Oh, we were not taught. Don't waste your time over that. Okay, there are people who start thinking that, then they leave the examination hall, they start copying. This is all waste of time. Instead, write what best you can. You leave that particular question right now, come to that question later on. At least you will start writing your paper, and over the end, trust me, your flow of the paper will be such, you will end up writing that answer also which you were feeling it is an unknown question. Okay, see to it that your handwriting are neat and clear in law language. I'm not telling you all to write in a hi-fi language. You can definitely use a simple language, but not to that level of simple. Okay, it has to be little professional. We are writing a professional paper, we are writing a professional exams, so there are certain expectations from the institute. Okay, so write in a neat handwriting, clear handwriting, because there half of your work is done. You keep the person who's checking your paper, that person likes your paper, they like to see your paper, they can read it. Underline your sections, underline if any case law you have written. Okay, and write it in a clear handwriting. Next is time yourself. Okay, carry a watch, time yourself, see to it that you're not wasting a lot of time on one given question. If it is a 3-mark answer or a 5-mark question, see to it that you're finishing that 3-mark in a given 5 minutes, or that 5-mark in a given 7 minutes. Okay, do not keep on writing that one answer. Stop. Okay, so you should learn how to stop a particular answer. Okay, so time yourself, carry a watch along with you. Okay, and for your, for your better understanding, I have also written a sample paper, okay, in which I have covered all the different types of questions which can be asked or which are generally asked over this period of time, okay. And I have written this paper. I had timed myself, okay, if this is the marks of the questions, how much time should I invest in it, and I have written a paper for all of you. So I would like to go ahead and show you this paper, but before I do that, I just want to, again repeat myself and tell you and remind you that I'm very glad that I'm making this video. I'm very glad to share my experience with you all. Why? Because not only I have achieved my CS professional, okay, not only that, not this all India rank, I have also kept this same discipline. I have also kept this same strategy when I studied my law immediately after CS, and I am a merit list holder in my college in the final year of law as well. And recently I had given an exams which is known as insolvency and bankruptcy code, okay, which is an exams within the professionals. After you clear your professionals, after you're a member of the institute, you give these exams, okay. It's as per your choice of interest which subject you want to choose. So I have given that and I have excelled even in that with 88%, okay. So this particular discipline in studying and this particular timetable method, time management method, stress management is not only going to help you while you are a student, trust me, it is going to take you to places, okay. So I am here to share my sample paper with you all. So let's begin. So here we begin with the most important part of this video. As I told you, that how to write in the exam papers in order to get really good marks, okay. Because all the knowledge you have and everything you know, but how do you deliver that knowledge in your exam paper is, trust me, very, very important. In fact, it is more important than that, because you know everything, but you have to write that, right? You have to present yourself. So let's begin with this, as I have jotted down certain questions, okay, which are generally asked, okay, the type of the questions which you will find in almost all the papers, even in your executive level, even in your final level. So there are some model answers which institute provides. You can of course refer to those. I am here to show you the types of questions, and this is very, very important, okay. Types of questions which they ask in the exams. The first kind is the comment, okay. They generally start the paper with a very simple thing like a comment on the following. So they will give you one particular, a phrase, a statement, a provision of law, and they will ask you to comment as a company secretary or to comment generally basically on the provisions. Then comes the situational questions. These are very, very important, okay. Why? Because in all your law subjects, like say company law, or even in your finals, okay, corporate funding, or you say SEBI laws, they will ask you, they will give you a situation. Like, they'll tell you there is Mr. Ram, Mr. Sham, they got into a contract, there was a breach of contract. Now what will be the particular, the result of this breach? What should be done? What remedy can you give to the party, etc. Okay. So there is situational based questions. Then we have descriptive questions. Descriptive questions are generally those direct type questions, or they have given you a detailed case study on which they again want you to write, and comment over it. Then the distinguish the following. We also have this drafting, okay. Now drafting is one subject which is there in CS finals. However, even in executive level, you have this company law, you have SEBI. In that, they might ask you, to draft a particular letter or draft a particular resolution. So we need to know, we need to have those drafting skills also. And the last is the practical sums. Okay, so now this practical sums it may be very simple. You may find that, okay, what practical sums, okay, like ma'am is saying, we have to just solve the particular sum. But no, it's not like that. Okay, when you're writing these professional exams, keep in mind these practical sums, you have to present them in a very good manner. Okay, so like basically you write your given, what they have given in the problem, you write how you have, like, whatever steps you have taken to solve that particular problem, then write your conclusion or the comments which they are actually asking you in the question. They don't want you to just derive at an answer and give the answer. Okay, you have to evaluate. Okay, practical sums are just not solving, in fact they are to evaluations. Okay, so you have to evaluate that particular question and give your answer accordingly. So I have covered all these 6 types. I have handwritten myself, okay, these questions. I have given you all the question. I have also written the answer, and the entire PDF, okay, of my answer paper is there available in the description in the video. So you can definitely take it from there and have a look at it. Now to begin with, okay, the first type, as I told you, the first type is comment. Okay, so comment on the following. As you can see, it is for 5 marks. Okay, so reasonable length also matters. Okay, about, you know, what you're writing, the length of the answer is also one matter when you're writing your paper. So it should not be that you have ended this 5 marks answer or question in 3 lines. Okay, so let's see. I have just taken up one question. They are saying reduction of share capital and diminution of share capital means the same. Now how to write this particular answer? First, you write about what you know is reduction of share capital. Write the provisions. I have written the provisions. Which sections? Okay, so section 66 subsection 1 of the Company Act. Okay, what are they stating about reduction of share capital? Okay, so reduction of share capital means to reduce or extinguish the liability, okay, in respect of the share capital not paid up, either with or without reducing or extinguishing the liability on any of its shares. Either you can cancel or pay off excess of capital. Okay, so first in the comment I have written what is reduction of share capital as per the given provisions of the Act. So write the section, write the provisions of the Act. In case you forget the section, at least write as per the provisions of so and so Act. Okay, this is what is given in the Act. Okay, see how I have written it in the point form. I have written point A, point B. In point B also I have not made a paragraph. I have again broken it down to, you know, small, you know, sub point 1, sub point 2. And then I came to diminution of share capital, and I have written the entire provisions of diminution of share capital. Okay, now when I completely, you know, I have completed this writing of diminution, here I have stated, okay, that here in section 61 subsection 2 they have specifically told us that cancellation of shares shall not be treated as reduction of share capital. Therefore you cannot say that reduction and diminution is the same. Okay, so they are not the same. So this is my conclusion. What I have done, was anything difficult in this? Nothing. Okay, it was very simple. They basically wanted us to write what is reduction of share capital, what is diminution of share capital, and according to the provisions, are they the same? No, they are not the same, because provisions themselves, it's saying that it does not mean the same. Okay, now before I go further, one important thing, okay, when you are writing an answer, okay, begin a new answer on a new page. Second important thing, please write your answer number properly. You see on my each page I have written answer A, 1A. I went to the next page, answer 1A. See to it that you're writing this, okay? Don't leave the examiner to think that, okay, which part of answer is this. Please be very careful. In the last 5 minutes when you're checking your paper, please ensure that you have written your answer numbers properly besides the answer on each and every page, and try to see that you attempt a new answer on a new page. Okay, so now let's go to a situational based question. Now in situational based, since they happen to ask situational based questions more often, okay, in law subjects, I have divided them. Situational based can be 3 marks, it can be more than that, it can be 5 marks, or even it can be 7 marks. Okay, so here they have given you a situation, like how I told you, they will give you some particular situation and they will ask you that what has to be done now. Okay, so there is situation where Sumit, Puneet and Manmeet, they were the subscribers, okay, of the MOA of a private company, and now after the incorporation, Mr. Sumit and Mr. Puneet, they both brought their shares. However, Manmeet did not do that. So what is the course of action? Okay, so here what you can really look at writing is, first thing, write the provision which you know. Okay, in case of a subscriber, no application or allotment is necessary. Why? Because they are subscribers of MOA, the first subscribers. Okay, by virtue of subscribing to the memorandum, they're deemed to be agreed the members. So I have first written the provision. Now second thing in the point I'm writing, that since they have subscribed to the memorandum, they have given an undertaking to the company that they will pay for the said shares. Further, subscribers has to take these shares directly from the company, not from any other members. Thus, the conclusion comes from the question itself. Thus, Manmeet will be liable to pay for his shares to the company. Okay, simple, 3 marks. I have finished this answer in 1 page. Okay, it was a 3 marks situational based question. Okay, now coming to situational based question which can be more than 3 marks, say 5 marks. Okay, so again here they have given you a situation and they are asking you to evaluate the situation and give us the detail as to what will be the course of the action. Okay, so here what you can do is, when they ask you this 5 marks and 7 marks, first of the most, write the facts of the given case. Now from where will you get the facts? Directly from the question, that okay, this is the company, they had given a loan of so and so amount to so and so company. Now the board wants to decide that how can they give more loan. Okay, so all the facts I have directly taken it from the question. Okay, next write the provisions of law based on what they are asking. Okay, what are they asking is the intercorporate loan. So I have written section 186 subsection 2. Okay, the limits of the loan and the limit of the investment will be the amount whichever is higher of the following. Just note down the entire provision, write it completely. Okay, after you have written the provisions, write what is the issue involved. Now from where will you take the issue involved? Again from the question itself. Simple, very easy. So see the presentation of this particular answer. I have written the facts of the case, I wrote the provisions, now I am writing the issue involved, and based on my provisions and my issue involved, I have given my conclusion. So just imagine if somebody is writing a paper like this, okay, and someone is just basically giving an answer of 5-10 points. Okay, this provision, therefore he cannot do, the company cannot provide intercorporate loans, so on and so forth. Will you not obviously have an edge if you have written an answer like this? You see the presentation, which is very important. So I have written a conclusion. Hence, prior approval by special resolution will be required in order to give further loans. Okay, so it is like kind of I have taken most of the content from the question itself. However, the way I have presented the answer, the provisions of the law and the conclusion, and this gives the examiner that they start on to thinking, oh yes, they know the law very well, they know how to present the law also very well. Okay, then coming to the descriptive types of questions, these are generally direct questions. Okay, direct questions. Sometimes they ask you procedures, process, okay, some particular phrase, and they will ask you to enumerate the phrase. So these are direct questions. Since they are carrying 8 marks, okay, it can be 7 marks, it can be 8 marks. No doubt I will write the details. Since it's a direct question, the answer has to be direct. Okay, so yes, I have written the answer. Now what is the question here they're asking is the fundamental attribute of the corporate personality is that the company is a legal entity which is distinct from the members. Now we all know this answer. Okay, they are saying explain the given statement with the relevant case law. So first you write a little bit of introduction on what is corporate personality of a company. Since it is a legal entity, it is different from its members. This is what the law says. Okay, so I have written that, and I have explained a given case which was Salomon versus Salomon and Company Limited. Now when I am writing my case law, take it any paper in which I have written, I always write my case laws in the form of facts, issue involved, and the decision, or you can say what is held, or conclusion, whatever. Okay, so this is how I always write my case laws. Then may that be a case law based on the situation which they have given, or where I have to write a case law from the module. Okay, so this is Salomon versus Salomon taken up from the module. I have given very brief facts of the case because it is an 8-mark answer. I cannot waste writing 3-4 pages. I have tried to complete my answer in 2 pages. Okay, so facts of the case, brief facts of the case. What was the issue involved? Okay, why were the creditors trying to tell that okay, Salomon cannot take up the amount of the debentures? They started saying that oh no, he is also the same person like the corporate entity. And what the House of Lords observed, and what was the decision held? I have written that because they told me that explain this statement with the help of a given or a relevant case law. So that's it. You may find that in the module this particular case law is running in 2 pages, but you do not have to copy that completely here. You can give the brief facts, you can give the issue involved, and then give the decision held. What is important here is the decision held. Okay, now let's move further. This is one of my favorite. Okay, distinguish. Why? Because they're almost there in almost all the papers. Okay, they can be 3 marks or 5 marks. Now in distinguish, obviously you write the distinguish the way we always have done. Okay, make the column and write your distinguish nicely. But yes, what I do is in my distinguish you will always find the title of the point based on what the distinguishes. Okay, so there the distinguishes partnership, firm and company. So my heading of my first distinguish is a legal person. So partnership firm is not a legal person, company is a legal person. Then about the property, then agency, partners are the agents, members are not the agents. Then and wherever you think that okay, I remember the simplest points, don't hesitate in writing that. Okay, write those, it's fine. Okay, 5 points. If it's a 3 marks, write your 5 points. If it is 5 marks, write 6 to 7 points and it is okay. Okay, so distinguish is nothing, I don't have anything more to discuss about it. So let's move on to the next type of question, that is a letter or a draft. As I told you, these are important questions. They might ask you to draft a resolution or letter. Okay, drafting is an altogether one subject, okay, in CS finals. So we as CS, we should know how to draft. Okay, so here see there is this XYZ Limited. They wish to convey a meeting of board of directors through electronic mode. So we have to draft a notice for the same and inform the directors. Okay, assume other informations, whatever you want. So I have written the date. Always the date should be 7 days, at least 7 days prior to the meeting date. So choose your date accordingly. Name of the company, registered address, SIN, email address and website. Okay, then which notice? It is the notice of 4th board meeting, whatever you want to write, 10th, 12th, etc. It's up to you. Mr. ABC, Director, New Delhi. Okay, dear sir, this is a notice to be given for the 4th board meeting of the company. It when the day on which it is going to be held, okay, the date, the year, and the time and the place. Okay, what will be the agenda? The agenda will be transacted, which will be as follows, which is separately given, and you may attend the meeting by the mode of video conference. Okay, in case you desire to participate through such mode, then you have to send a confirmation in this regards. Okay, so simple, such a simple letter. Okay, confirmation in this regards to Mr. P. Who is that Mr. P? He is the company secretary of the company. Please send your confirmation on this given detail address within 2 days. Okay, kindly make it convenient to attend the meeting. Now you will feel that, oh, how to remember all these drafts. Okay, but trust me, they are not difficult. Okay, they have the same outlay, or you can say it's the same layout. Okay, it is like around that same thing only they keep moving you up to. If this would have been general meeting, again it would be the same address thing. The date would be at least 21 days before the meeting, email address, website, particular shareholders. Okay, and this is to inform you that this general meeting is to be held on this day, that day, okay, at this place. The agenda will follow. Okay, you can participate through video conferencing and vote over the postal ballot, etc., etc., giving the details to the company secretary and ending it in the same manner. So your start and your end is always the same in any kind of formats or letters which the company secretary basically sends in a company. Kindly make it convenient to attend the meeting. Only the body part, certain things here and there changes. Okay, and the last one is the problem based question, or say the practical question. Okay, I'll read this, okay, completely. It is for 5 marks. They are saying a mutual fund has a NAV of rupees 11.5 in the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year their NAV increases to 12.10. Meanwhile, the fund distributes 0.8 rupees, 0.8, or you can say 80 paise dividend, and 0.70 as capital gains. What is the fund's return during the year? And second question is, had this distribution been reinvested again in that same mutual fund, then an average NAV would be 11.8. What is the return for 200 units? Now if you see, I have solved it. How I have solved? See this, given NAV at the beginning, NAV at the end, dividend, capital gains. The question first which they are asking is funds return during the year. I have written the formula and then solved it and given an answer in percentage form. Second question, where all the dividend and capital gain are reinvested, okay, into the additional units of the funds. Then again I have written the in an answer form, dividend plus capital gain will give me this much amount. So how much I will receive from 200 units will be 300 rupees. So how many additional units can I acquire? It will be the amount upon the new NAV which they have given me in second question. Okay, and this is how I have solved my second sum also, which is totally problem based. If you see, it is only solving, but I have given the proper details and have given my conclusion. Therefore holding period return would be so and so, or therefore funds return during the year will be so and so. You can definitely take up this paper, as I said, from the description given below. You can read through it, okay, and have an understanding. Now say informative type of question. These are also like a problem based, okay, practical question only, but they are more informative in nature. You really don't have to solve something. They come under the practical question only, but you don't have to solve, you have to comment. Okay, so here they have given you a particular question about ASBA process, okay, which is in SEBI. So there is Girdhar, a retail individual investor who had applied for the IPO of Six Sigma Limited through an ASBA process. Self-certified syndicate bank failed to make the bids in the stock exchange system even after the amount has been blocked. So the issue was oversubscribed. Okay, now based on these SEBI guidelines and circular, we have to answer the following 2 questions. Okay, now they are again informative in nature, I said. So our first question, the answer I have given in the form of information, that whenever there is a failure of the bid, minimum compensation is to be paid to the investors. Now what is that minimum compensation is already given in the law. Okay, and question 2, there is a calculation of minimum fair compensation. So it is informative along with little bit of solving. That is why it comes under the practical based question only. So how much will be the compensation Mr. Girdhar can get? It will be listing price minus the issue price into number of shares that he would have been allotted if the bid was successful and the basis of allotment. So the compensation amount is rupees 875. Okay, so please do download this sample answer paper, because it has the questions along with it. I will be more than happy to help if anyone has more queries, okay, regarding the same. You have all the details under this description of the video. Take the paper, read the questions, see how I have written, see the language. I have not written in any fancy language. It is the law language, made it in a simpler manner, okay, and just kind of pulled up my answers. Okay, so see to it that you go through this and go through your model answers before you write your exam papers. Okay, stick to what you have studied, be confident, okay, on whatever you are doing. Study from day one, plan yourself from day one, so you don't have any end moment crashes. Okay, you keep a buffer time for everything you are doing, and do it in this manner, and see, you will make a lot of difference, and you will make your parents and your teachers proud of it. Okay, and moreover it, you are going to achieve your dream. Okay, so I'm sure that we can definitely do this much in order to gain something which is going to be with us for the life, okay, for over the years to come. So thank you very much. I am very happy to help over here, and it was a fantastic session which I have shared with you all. Thank you once again.